Hi everybody, good to be back. I'm just going to play a little bit today and thought I would bring you along. I'm going to just start by making a background page, if you will. I'm later going to cut that up and use it as a background for a portrait, I think. But you know me, I just kind of fly by the seat of my pants, and so we'll see where this takes me. So I'm just starting out with some inks. I have some dress pattern paper and some book pages, piece of cardboard, and I'm going to just do this on this Strathmore drawing paper. It's just a 200 series, so it's 64 pounds, so it's not real heavy, because if I do want to cut it up and use it to glue down as a background on for something else, I don't want it to be on real heavy paper. So I better probably take this out, or I'm going to have ink on all the rest of my paper. I have a plastic table mat down here, so that will be easy to clean up. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here if I can. Well, I guess I'm going to have to lift you up just a bit. Try and get it all on there for you. Get rid of that glare. All right. So acrylic ink settles to the bottom, so just want to make sure we get that shook up real well. And I need my water bottle. I just have a fine mist sprayer. I hope there's water in there. And I'm going to try to open my bottles. I'm just going to shake each one up. I have a metallic gold. I thought I'd throw that in there. Those two were Liquitex. This is an Amsterdam turquoise green. I'll link all the supplies like I usually do in the description box for you. And if you decide that you want to use these same colors but you don't have them and you want to buy them, the links in my description box will take you to Amazon, to my little store thingy on Amazon. And if you buy it through my link, so this is really thin paper, if you buy it through my link, I'll get a few pennies, and it helps me to, yeah, that's not moving good on this paper, darn it. All right, well, we'll make do, because it's going to get cut up anyhow. Sorry, I keep interrupting myself. So if you follow one of my links from my video to my Amazon page, Amazon will give me a few pennies if you buy something. Even if you go there and, you know, buy a broom, if you started out at one of my links, Amazon will reward me. Ooh, okay. Okay. That's always fun. Okay. Just never know what's going to happen, which is part of the fun, right, of experimenting. But like I said, this is, you know, this isn't supposed to be a work of art in itself. It's just a starting point piece of paper that I intend to, my thought process is, I will let it dry and cut it up and use it in the background of another piece. Some sort of something. I'm thinking a portrait maybe. If you don't follow me on Instagram, yeah, it's going all over the table too. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you may not know that my main focus is portraiture, using different mediums. I do some in cold waxing oils. I do some in acrylics. Mostly I do graphite portraits or charcoal portraits. I like that gold. I'm going to put some more in. But my Instagram link is, I think, up at the top of the screen, maybe over on the right hand side. So if you want to check it out, come over and say hi over there. I'm not going to put any more water. I'm just going to kind of mush this around a little. Ooh, that's pretty. I'm not usually a blingy kind of girl here, but that is pretty. All right, so this is going to have to dry. I may hit it with the heat tool. I probably should have gone for a little bit heavier paper, but I'll bring you in a little bit so you can see better. Little intense in some spots. That pink just didn't really want to move very much. It moved to the table, which is fine because that's why I have the plastic there. All right, so I'm going to get this dry and I'll be back. All right, this is 80% dry. I just hit it with my heat tool. That's the front. The back, you can see the ink really went through this paper, so it's heavier than newsprint, but not a lot. But it'll be fine for this project. It did buckle a lot. I just pressed wrinkles into it, which was fine with me. I like the texture of the wrinkles. So I'm just going to do the same thing to these two pieces of book paper, and I'll just speed this up because you already saw me do it once. Let's go and do it again. I'm going to maybe do this instead of doing big blobs. See how this paper reacts. It may be different than the other paper is. I'm going to blot some of that water off of there. Here's a tip. When you have something that's really wet like that and you want to dry it quicker than usual, and if you have a glass palette, I'll lift you up and just show you. It's just basically a glass cutting board I got from Amazon, and I put some gray paper under there just because when I mix paint, I like to have a gray neutral underneath there. But if you lay it on the glass, of course the glass is going to heat up and it will help your paper dry faster. Just a little tip for you. All right, I'm going to do that and be back. Everything was dry and I tore everything up. I did add some little pieces of that pattern fabric here along the edge. I like the graphical element of the lines. I'm just not sure at this point. I know it will go more transparent than it looks right now. I'm keeping this area open, and I will have to turn it around, I think, if I'm going to do a portrait, but I couldn't fit it all in my frame, in the frame here for you to see all these pieces, so I have it turned landscape right now. So off camera I will just use this regular Liquitex matte medium as my glue, and I'm just going to glue these down basically where they are. I kind of played with the pieces, see where I wanted them. So that's the next step. So I'm going to just start gluing and let it dry, or dry it with the heat tool, and then I will be back. I think I'm going to probably push things back with some white gesso and just kind of integrate the white of the paper. This is Strathmore. What did I do with it? I guess I put it away. This is Strathmore 140-pound watercolor paper, 300 series. So it's nice and heavy, and it should be able to withstand anything that I'm going to do in terms of wet media. So that's where I'm at, and I'll be back when this stuff is all glued down and dried, and we'll go to the next step. All right, this is all dry. When I put the papers down, when I had them glued down, I had them all kind of off the edge, so I just went through and trimmed those off just with scissors. And then I did, in 3 spots, stamped this pretty, it's real delicate, Tim Holtz floral stamp. I just thought I wanted some just delicate lines. I don't know if any of them will end up staying or not. I used this Distress Archival Ink, so it's a distress color, but it's permanent ink in hickory smoke, and it's waterproof and permanent. So I did that, and I had said I think I'm going to integrate everything or kind of push things back with white gesso, but I decided to use the golden fluid acrylic titanium white. I'm going to water it down quite a bit. Now I know I have this way. You know what? I'll turn it this way, and that way I can bring you in a little closer at least. That's a big piece of paper. There, you can see a little better. So I'm just going to wet my brush. I have some of this on my palette already. And I'm just going to, even though it's fluid acrylic, it's still thicker than what I want. So, and I'm just going to, I want everything to still show through. But I'm just going to kind of go over everything with a light layer of the paint. Then I'm going to go over my paper too. Just get a coat of the white paint on the paper as well. And then while that's still wet, I don't know if this will work, but I'm gonna press this bubble wrap in and see if I get a little texture. Yeah, a little bit. Just for a little more interest, not so much there. It may not have been very wet there. I could also put paint on this way, I guess, instead of just taking it off. My iPad that I'm filming with is right in front of my eyes. So if my head gets in there or I bang the camera with my head, you'll excuse me, right? Yeah, just a little bit here and there, that's good. Some right here, and just dab a little more paint on there, maybe a little bit of water. And I can't take it off. Whoops, wrong side. I can't take it off if there's nothing there to take off. I may just try to put that down right there and just transfer it. Yep. Yeah, that's good. Just a little bit here and there. Okay. Quick and easy mark making. And then I have this piece of corrugated cardboard. I use it a lot for my, when I do cold wax and oils. I'm just going to put some paint on there. I mean, the wax and oils are dry, so. And I don't know that this will show up because, oh yeah, that worked good. We'll just get what we can get from that one application. Turn it this way, go over here. Okay, another session of drying, but you see how that just, it softened it. You can still see everything. It kind of dulled the metallic, that gold metallic paint. That's okay. I don't mind that so much. I can always add more later if I want to. Okay, time to dry. Okay, I'm back. Everything is dry. As you can see, I already just sketched an outline of a face on here. This was a reference photo that Angela Kennedy used for one of her watercolor lessons in the Let's Face It group. So I hope she doesn't mind that I'm using it again. She did a watercolor with this, but it's her drawing, and I like the simplicity of it. I love the big eyes, so just wanted to make sure that she got credit for the drawing. Now I used these Lyra, they're water-soluble graphite. That's what I used to draw the outline. So I'm just going to activate that with a bit of water. And then I'll go in, when it's dry, I'll go in with, oops, bump table, with just regular graphite. You got to use the right end of the paintbrush. But I used the 2B water-soluble crayon, so graphite crayon, so it's not going to be real dark. I think I will probably just keep this on the light side, just she kind of will look better. I did smear it a little bit with my finger already, just to get a little shading going. Because I used the lightest of the 3 graphite crayons, you know, she didn't get too dark, and the water kind of really lightened it up. So I'm just going to hit this with the heat gun for a couple of seconds and dry it, because if it's not completely dry, I'm going to have trouble with my pencils. So I'm just going to take a second and do that. I'm using this set of pencils, Faber-Castell. They're the Pitt Graphite Matte pencils. So if you've used just regular, you know, pencils for drawing before, you know how shiny the graphite can get. These don't do that, so I really like them. So that's what I'm going to use, and I'm going to just start with an HB and just kind of go over the lines that I already have here. HB is the lightest of the pencils in this set. I don't know if it's the water-soluble pencil, but it's almost like these regular graphite pencils aren't wanting to go down very easy on this paper. I'm going to switch to a 2B, a little darker, and maybe that'll work better. It's just kind of odd that I'm not getting the lines very easily. I'm going to start laying down some tone where the shadows need to go. I'm just going to go in and just move that graphite around and smooth it out. All right, let's go all the way up to 10. See what happens. If I can get some darkness here, because maybe I should have just stuck with the water-soluble crayons. Sometimes you can fix it and sometimes you can't. It's disappointing though, because I don't do as many YouTube videos as I used to. I just don't have the time that I used to have to do them. The editing takes a long time, and when I do one, I'd like for it to turn out well. But it's not going very well. Frustrating. Very frustrating. I know I've drawn on top of acrylics before though, so I'm not sure what the deal is here. Obviously. All right, well, my darkest in this set is a 14B, which is quite dark. You don't usually get a 14B in a set of pencils. So we'll go with that. I'm gonna put some lines in her hair with this water-soluble graphite. And I'll just activate that a bit. Okay. Okay, kids. I will have a better project for you next time. I'm going to put some still pictures of this at the end regardless, just so that you can see. Like I said, I really like the way the collage came out. That looks good. She doesn't look terrible. I just really struggled with those pencils, and I mean, I draw a portrait in graphite almost every day, and I've never had any trouble like that before. So it's got to be something to do with the paint, I assume. I don't know why. I don't even know if this video is worth editing for you. I don't want to waste your time, that's for sure. Okay, I have some thoughts about the process that we just watched. I don't know if you could tell because the video was sped up, and I cut some parts out just to save on time, because I realized as I was drawing this and attempting to blend out my graphite pencils, the pencils weren't laying down like I'm used to. They weren't blending out very well. They were kind of like just sticking to the substrate. And it dawned on me as I was going along that the problem I was having was being caused by the acrylic paint that I put down in this section where I drew the portrait. So looking back, 3 things that I could have done to prevent that. First of all, just not putting any medium over the paper in the area, just protecting the paper where I was going to draw with the graphite would have been my best bet. In lieu of that, instead of using the acrylic paint, I should have just gone back to my original plan, which was to use white gesso. Gesso provides more tooth for the graphite to grab onto, whereas the paint was almost acting like a resist and giving me problems in getting the graphite onto the paper. And the other thing that I could have done when I realized that I was having trouble was, instead of just going on with it, had I stopped and just put a layer of clear gesso over my drawing and let that dry and then proceeded, I would have had enough tooth to have better success with the drawing. So put that in your toolbox of tips. And yeah, and you can notice here I did go back. I used my Stabilo pencils to work on the eyes a little more, if you can see that. I used a blue and my black and then a little bit of yellow Stabilo, which I did not activate with water. They stuck well, so I just used them as they are and didn't activate them. So that's it. She's not terrible. I just had trouble along the way. So hopefully my miscues will help you in the future if you're going to put some graphite down. And I've used graphite pencils on top of acrylic paint before and not had this much trouble. So, you know, you just never know what you might run into. Sometimes some days are good and easy, and other days you just, you know, you make do, or you limp along, or whatever, you correct. So if you've made it this far, I just want to say a big thank you for sticking with me, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, share it out to someone else who might enjoy it. If you're not a subscriber to my channel and you like what you see, I have lots of playlists with lots and lots of videos using different medias, doing different types of projects, so check those out if you like it. Maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And in the meantime, you go make some art. Bye.